I believe my motion was to further study 4-year-old kindergarten.
I understand that, but you know what you've done is to link them so that you can try and get this thing driven through. I don't agree with it, and I will vote no.
My 2 cents, and I agree somewhat with Paul, I agree somewhat with Dawn. Really, this is kind of why I wanted to keep them separate, why I voted against putting them together. It's a separate discussion. You really need to have readiness skills given to the daycares, preschools, and the parents on the 4K needs. We need to search out our 4K kids. At this point, until I see some hard evidence on the Title I, what it's doing, even if we're getting the target group we're seeking, I don't see any further discussion on 4K as a general population, and right now we can't afford 4K as a general population because we're $1 million in the hole this year. So there's no way to fund it other than the Title I right now. So to me, the first one is a given. The second one, by saying we're going to do any more in 4K other than Title I would have to vote against. So I would have to vote against the entire motion now, which means that I couldn't vote for the readiness skills either. So that's why I want to keep them separate, so as a clarification.
So where we're at then is you're going to vote no to further study of a 4-year-old kindergarten, both you and Paul.
That's right.
Until I have data from the Title I funding, and it's going to take a few years to get the data out of the students. You can't obviously get it in the first year. But until we get that data and we see how these students are doing as opposed to their peers coming in that haven't taken 4K, I see it as a expenditure that is not a provable item. For example, why don't we have 3K? Why don't we have 2K? Why don't we just take right out of the womb and say we're going to have the state educate your children because we don't think that parents can educate them. So where is the cutoff point if you can't show hard data that shows there's an actual need for 4K? I agree with the Title I funding group for a targeted population, but as a general population, I can't say I've seen anything that says that is such a benefit that the people of the district should pay for it. When to this point, we have some of the best schools in the area, we've never had 4K. Up till several years ago, 5K was an option. People wouldn't have to. So those students graduating right now are graduating at the top in this area. I see no detriment from those students. So I would have to, at this point, because they're merged together on 4 and 5 as topics, vote against it because I'm not in favor of doing any more on 4K until we see something coming out of Title I.
Okay, you posed a Robert's Rules of Order dilemma because we've agreed to merge the two, and what I'm hearing now is that we would be better off separating the two.
I would suggest that my fellow board members vote this motion down. We bring forth the first motion again.
Because this is an amendment right now. You can vote the amendment down, you go back to the first one, and you can pick up the second.
My feeling regarding merging them was to have a committee look at both areas. I think they're both important to do, but I want to see that that happens with a committee of educators who deal with students that are 5 years old and are there to define those prerequisite skills, and then also have that input into what data they have about 4-year-olds. I think that it makes sense to have them together and do that through a committee process, which may enlighten us into what we have.
You know, as the chair of this board, I would like to re-separate them so that we can have a unanimous agreement on the first one, and then we can discuss the second one, which may not be unanimous.
Well, you can take the vote it down, and then go back to the original one.
We can take a vote on what we have now, all vote it down, so that we erase it, and then we can start over again.
We got to vote separate, yeah.
Well, the original one passed, so that will stand in further discussion.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Oh.
Let's go.
Okay. Let's vote on the motion as it is.
The amendment.
Good motion. And, you know, I don't want to instruct us how to vote, but if we vote it down, then we can start fresh.
But if we don't, I'll put it down.
Well, go in favor,
Well-
you just, what your motion is now, the actual motion on the floor, because this is an amendment you actually made.
But you're, are you saying that if we all don't put it down, we
No,
can?
it's the majority.
Okay.
Majority
Okay.
vote, sure.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure.
because right now we're voting on the amendment, which was to add the information about furthering anything on 4K right now. So this is just an amendment we're voting on right now. And then we have the final motion, which we're back to, which should be back in separated one.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Against.
All those opposed to the motion?
Aye.
I'm sorry. All those opposed to
All opposed to the
the,
amendment.
my vote is nay. I said aye. All those opposed to the motion, vote nay.
Nay.
Nay. So we struck down that motion.
So we're back to the original, which was
Back down.
number 4. Now
Discuss and take action defining requisite skill sets for 5-year-old kindergarten.
Yeah, but I would like the motion to be separate 4 and 5.
That's what it is.
That's what we're doing.
It's going.
No, when we motioned, everybody voted in favor of putting together something. So now I would like the motion
No,
to be
I didn't
separate.
vote. Put them together.
It was 3-2. But then the original motion was that, which was we approved that.
Yeah,
I
so
thought
we
voted on it.
turned down that amendment. So now we're back to the original motion, which was only about number 4, but not about number 5.
Right.
So I would like the motion that we separate 4 and 5 so we can have decisive action on 5. Although,
Is there a second?
I'd like to go back to my original motion, which is just item 4. And the only thing that was added was to also include parents.
Would you see that as happening through our committee?
There's an item for it, point of order. Dan made a motion. We need a second.
because after, let me just go back in history here, the original motion was false.
Correct.
We turned down, we had an amendment which added 5 to it. We had another amendment which added verbiage for 5 to the original motion.
Correct.
We turned that down, that means we're back to the original motion, and we have to join them. So I motion that we unconjoin them. So we have 4 and 5 separate, and leave the original motion on 4 all by itself.
Right.
That's what I motion.
Right. So then I was looking for a second, but
Okay. Motion by Dan, seconded by Doug.
no, Paul, I think wanted to discuss first. No?
Okay, so this is just to re-separate, so we have a clean vote on number 5.
Doing number 4 right now.
Right,
Yes.
if we vote in favor of this.
No, clarify that. We're voting to separate.
Yes.
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 Clear? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Unanimous, Mary.
No, you vote
No.
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, nay.
Thanks.
Okay. So now we're back to.
Where
we're
was
separate.
I'll separate.
We're back to Paul's original motion, still on the floor.
I'll reiterate that same motion, including communication with parents, and I will leave it to the administration to include the proper people that are needed, which may include kindergarten teachers for that discussion.
Okay, is there a second to Paul's motion?
Already had that, I think. Third or second.
Originally, yes.
Second.
Okay.
Discussion now on that one single motion. All those in favor of Paul's motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no.